Hey there, everybody. Eric Chessen, founder of Autism Fitness, leading the movement for movement. And if you are ready to become an Autism Fitness certified pro, then click the link in the description for this video below, and you can be well on your way today, tomorrow, right now, or in a couple seconds, as soon as you register. Anyway, to becoming an Autism Fitness certified pro wherever you are in the world. You get your self-paced online training, and then you get to join me for your virtual or in-person full-day practical, so you can get the hands-on, feet-on, brains-on training that you and your athletes deserve. In today's Tuesday training, what we're going to be discussing, even though we're looking at a squat. Now, for the past couple of weeks, I've done series on particular exercises in different phases. So our warm up, our power, and our strength phases. But today we're going to look at things from the adaptive perspective. So, as you may or may not know, in Autism Fitness, we use the PAC profile as our guidance system. That's physical, adaptive, and cognitive. And these are the three most important, I dare I say, critical aspects of programming for all of our athletes. Now, when we talk about adaptive functioning, we're looking at motivation and engagement. And when we have low motivation or low engagement, oftentimes there's a competing behavior, sometimes referred to as a maladaptive behavior. This could be off-task behavior, longer latencies. When we get into processing delays, that's more on the cognitive side, but it can have behavioral ramifications or consequences or observable traits as well. Now, we have a couple different categories of off-task behavior. What we're not going to be talking about in this video are some of the more significant uh, behavioral concerns. So we have eloping, self-injurious behavior, aggressive behavior. Certainly, these are things that we want to understand within the realm of the autism and neurodivergent population. However, we're not going to be getting at that today. What we are going to be talking about are a few different strategies for when we have an athlete who easily gets off task or perseverates on different movements or activities or non-movement when they are starting to or before they're starting to perform an exercise. So right now I got my guy Z right here, and we're about to do some squats here. And you can see we want to get to the band because right now he uses the band and the box as the modifications for his squat. We haven't even gotten there yet, meaning he has done squats before, but in this particular set, you can see that he is, we'll say, unavailable or otherwise occupied to perform the squat. Now, clearly, just sitting on the box is undesirable from the perspective of what we want to get done, and it's also not going to create a training effect. Now, I will say that this becomes a very individualized process because some athletes, the process is going to be, and this is what we cover extensively in the Autism Fitness Level 1 certification. So the conversation is not around go out and do this. The conversation is around there's a greater conversation to be had. But for some athletes, we want to offer choice at this point where the athlete is non-participatory. And if that's the case, we may want to offer choice of a different exercise and create a contingency around that. In Zeke's case here, even with the choice of another exercise, and these are things, keep in mind that we've been working together for quite some time now, around 2 years. So I'm very familiar with the way that he operates. He is, for all intents and purposes, very familiar with the way that I operate. So this would not be something, and this is really important. This is not something that I would do with an athlete in their first session. So I might try a few different things. I might try offering them a different exercise. I might try offering them a break if they do a lower demand exercise. In Zeke's case, he typically works best staying with the same exercise. So you can see now he's back up. He resets his feet. he knows this exercise. He knows where he needs to position himself. For him, this is fantastic kinesthetic awareness. This is a big, big deal, even that small thing of setting his feet into the right place. However, we see some clothing adjusting. We see him turning his head around. So he's not, again, to use that term, really available to complete the exercise to a degree where it's going to be really meaningful and translate to the training effect. You can see now he squatted, but a couple things, we could break this down for an hour, but you see his feet are up, the knee is internally rotated. It's really not the best form that I've seen from him before, and now he's perseverating on his shirt as well. So one couldn't say, I'll wait for these guys to pass by here. So one couldn't say, even if he's doing a squat and then engaging in this behavior, that it's going to have a training effect. There is way, way too much time in between repetitions for this to net the benefit physically of the exercise right now. There's just too much of a competing variable with the behavior right now. And again, we're not looking at significant behavior in as much as there needs to be an intervention. This is something that's very much going on internal for him. Now, you notice one thing that I'm not doing is I'm not going to disrespect the athlete. I'm not going to get in his face. I'm not going to start raising my voice. I'm waiting for a moment. And again, I know this athlete really well. I'm waiting for a moment where he becomes, again, available to coaching so that we can restart this exercise. When we look at this through the lens of physical, adaptive, and cognitive skills, the most important one right now is the adaptive, getting him focused and ready so he can perform the exercise again, because we are not going to get really good technique or form with that squat right now. And you can see that the delay between repetitions is so long that we're really not getting the training effect. This is more of a coaching and teaching moment right now, and making sure that he is safe, staying in the same place so that when he is again available, and we're having these intermittent repetitions right now, but he's again available to complete the set. So now we're getting a little less latency in between repetitions. And again, this is where we're getting a green light to complete the exercise with much better technique, where it is actually going to benefit him. But this is something that comes up so often for our ASD and neurodivergent athletes that we really can't have a meaningful discussion about best practices without bringing this stuff up. And that, again, is why there's a PAC profile with physical, adaptive, and cognitive performance. And we need to be able to identify and be able to either intervene, if we want to call it that, or respond to these situations as well. So now he's a little more back on task. We're getting some better squats. Decreased latency again between those repetitions, and this is gone from a set that was what we could call technically a little folly a party to one where we did finish up with a few really good reps, and sometimes that's the best that we can ask for. We'll come back to it as well. So we may do 4, 5, 6 sets of squats, and oftentimes it is the case where the more the athlete is doing that particular exercise, the better and more dialed in they get to it, and the better performance we see as well. So we may not just want to give up on that exercise right now in that set and say, okay, let's try something else. We may want to stay with it. Of course, that is very athlete dependent. These are concepts and strategies that work. Of course, they work when we're using them soundly with good judgment. And that's the whole reason why there is an Autism Fitness Level 1 certification. So, and of course, Kilo, one of my dogs back there, is very excited about that, and probably excited about you becoming an Autism Fitness Certified Pro. So again, the link is in the description below. head on over to autismfitness.com. And again, if this has been helpful for you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone for whom it might be helpful as well. I'm Eric Chessen, founder of Autism Fitness. Thanks for watching.